At Detroit this morning, the loss of a radio legend. Pillow Talk host Almond has passed away at the age of 68. And joins us now on the phone this morning to someone who knew the radio host very well and a legend himself in radio, Jim Harper. Jim, good morning to you.
Morning, Jeff.
Hey, Jim, tell us about Alan and tell us about the relationship that you had with him.
Well, I think the part about Alan that most people didn't know was that he really wasn't a super serious guy. He loved to laugh. He had a great sense of humor. And he loved doing that show more than anything in the world. But he wouldn't have wanted people to be very sad this morning. He would have wanted them to reconnect and share memories and have a warm feeling about the whole show.
Yeah. You know, Jim, Alan's soothing voice and mellow music was just such a great place to relax. I remember back in 1999 listening to Pillow Talk on my way home, and it was just such a great way to kind of connect and decompress, and I know that that's what he did in his show, so it's kind of interesting to hear that he was such a comedic guy, because his show was so relaxed and kind of mysterious, because he's never had any pictures out there. You know, we were talking about that in the newsroom today. It's like we all, in our own mind's eye, kind of described what we thought he looked like. So tell us, what did he look like?
You know what? He was a handsome guy. He was tall. He was in pretty good shape. Every time I'd see him around Birmingham, after he had left WNIC, he'd be on his bicycle and he'd have a little hat. He kind of got a kick out of the fact that he could go anywhere and no one would ever recognize him until he started to speak. So it was kind of cool. It was like when the king dresses up as a peasant and walks among the village. But he was an average-looking, tall guy, broad shoulders. He walked with a sense of confidence, and I think Alan would tell you that the reason he kind of went underground and didn't let anybody see him was he didn't think there was any way he could match the image that he had created on the radio. So he was afraid people would be disappointed no matter what he looked like. So he thought it would be in everybody's best interest if it just was what people thought he looked like.
Jim, you said that he worked very hard and that show was his life. Was that the secret to his success? Because he was so successful.
I don't think I've met anyone in my life who worked on the radio that really just got up, got showered, had something to eat, and then went in and focused on that show and nothing else. It really did consume his life, but not in a way like it might consume our lives today with conference room meetings and conference calls. It was more just thinking about different songs he could play and things that he could say. He loved more than anything making people feel like that they were cared about.
Yeah. Well, Jim, I know that you know all about this, the state of radio right now. There's so much satellite with XM, and it's not as local as what it used to be. Will there ever be another DJ like Almond, or even anybody that could come close to what he did?
I think so. I think about a month ago, Alan had an article written about him, kind of giving him the respect and credit for creating that iconic show. And he had talked to me, just 3-4 weeks ago about launching something on the internet. The good news is you can still do almost anything on the web. So he was thinking about doing podcasts. So somebody might pick up on that and run some old Alan shows, but I think somebody could emerge today and do the same kind of thing. It really depends on how committed they are to the concept of romance and believing in love.
Well, Jim, it's so nice to have you on to talk about Alan today. You're obviously one of his dear friends and gave us an insight into him, and thank you so much for that. Really appreciate that. Your
My
time
pleasure.
right now is 8:25 here on 7 Action News and TV 20.